D&D is an awesome game that is more than just a game. It brings us together to share in fantastical adventures and gives us a sense that we are part of something greater. But there are certain things in the game that when you think about them, they don't make any sense. Like the rules for underwater combat state that creatures and objects, fully immersed in water, have resistance to fire damage. Okay, makes sense. But a water elemental composed of pure water does not resist fire. Effects that ignite you on fire can be extinguished by dousing them with water. But a creature that is made of water does nothing to resist or douse the flames. A fire elemental can set a water elemental on fire. What? But those nitpicky things are easy enough for a GM to referee on the fly and just go by what makes more sense. Other problems are much deeper, though. They are baked into the game itself, so in order to fix them, you have to work at that level, which takes quite a bit of thought and your own reworking of some fundamental aspects. One such major problem is with the races in D&D, specifically how it makes no sense that humans are the predominant race in the world. Humans in D&D have the same lifespans as humans in the real world. Sure, human player characters and certain NPCs do have the potential to reach incredible levels, but overall, D&D humans have more or less the same limitations that we do in real life. But look at the other races. Halflings have an average lifespan of 250 years, and they are extraordinarily lucky and brave. Dwarves live for about 350 years, and they have incredible physical durability. They are masters of mining, smithing, and crafting, with a nearly unrivaled work ethic and a sense of common purpose. Gnomes live 350 to 500 years, and they have stunning intellects, magical abilities, and a technology level that surpasses almost all other beings in existence. Even at just level 1, gnome characters can create intricate clockwork devices. Elves live up to 750 years. They are graceful, perceptive, smart, in tune with nature, and of course beautiful. They have natural inclinations to magic, and they don't even need to sleep. They just trance 4 hours a day. These races and others should have taken over the world long ago. Can you imagine a society, how it would be if the people were all naturally brilliant and magical and only had to rest 4 hours a day, and each one got 7 centuries to develop skills and absorb vast bodies of knowledge? Or a society in which the people were unified in their perspective and their purpose, and everyone had high stamina and super strong immune systems, and everyone was extremely hardworking and got multiple centuries to live and accomplish. Or a society with a magical/steampunk technology that was way more advanced than the rest of the world, which was just at a medieval or even ancient level. Or even in the case of the lowly halfling, the people of their society only have to consume half the amount of food, water, and other necessary resources, and whatever risks or enterprises they attempt always have this edge of success due to their good luck. Plus, the population is all brave and courageous, which would have an enormous impact considering just how much fear and anxiety hold us humans back. It's understandable that D&D is a human-centric game. It's created and played by us, humans. But really, it makes no sense how the other humanoids don't absolutely dominate things. It's not a question of would they outcompete humans, but which one of them would outcompete us the most, or which non-human would beat the other non-humans. Would it be the elves, with their grace, beauty, magic, wisdom? Would it be the dwarves, with their stamina, health, industriousness, and unification? The halflings, with their efficiency, their luck, and their bravery? Or maybe the gnomes, with their intelligence, their magic, and their advanced technology? And again, keep in mind, all of these outlive the humans, up to 750% longer lives, giving them so much time to develop and to reach higher levels of mastery. It's hard to pick which one would reign as champion, and I could see endless competing or even warring that played out across centuries, with factions of superhumanoids one-upping each other like a paper, rock, scissors on an epic scale. All the while, whole generations of humans just come and go and come and go. The elves and gnomes and dwarves just watch us live, get old, and die over and over, like family pets that are only around for a fraction of the timeline. There are a few different attempts to explain why the humans are not overtaken by the other races, why we are the dominant ones, or why at least we're able to compete very well. But these explanations are essentially exercises in mental gymnastics. Humans are much more populous. Those other supposedly elite humanoid races, well, they reproduce much more slowly. I'm pretty sure that with a highly intelligent, highly efficient, magical, technologically advanced species, they would solve something like reproduction rates. Elves would make some potion or some kind of mystical tea using leaves from some special plant, and their wizards and their druids can cultivate it to be more potent. Mages and priests would cast spells that increase fertility and reduce congenital disorders and pregnancy or childbirth complications. Fertility technologies would get invented and refined by brilliant minds who have centuries to refine and perfect them. The birth rate, in the big scheme of things, is not a very difficult problem to solve.
But non-humans are more good-hearted, and therefore they allow humans to thrive just because, well, they're so darn nice and they're so fair.
I guess if your setting is like Cocomelon, that would work. Otherwise, no, just because a race has more of an inclination toward a good alignment does not mean that they have no ambition, or they don't compete, or they don't strive to be the greatest. It doesn't mean that they don't have flaws, or that they don't make big mistakes at times. It also doesn't mean that there are no neutral or no evil-aligned members of the race. It doesn't mean that there are no tyrants, and no psychopaths, and no ultra-ambitious figures who want to conquer the known world. Just because races like elves or dwarves on the whole tend to be a bit more good-aligned than humans does not mean that they don't have any zealous ideologues who think they know what is best for the whole world and want to take control of everything and usher in their idea of a utopia. Plus, there are plenty of other non-human races that are highly intelligent, magical, advanced, and long-lived, and they tend towards neutral or evil alignments. What about changelings? They could deceive, frame, and undermine rival societies. What about vampires? What about the Gith? What about mind flayers? When you get down to it, it makes no sense. The truth is, humans would be outcompeted into extinction in some regions, we would be slaves in other regions, and we would be dependents that cling to greater beings in other regions. It's also weird playing a character of a race that is very long-lived, just due to how much of your lifespan has to get ignored. Like, imagine you're playing an elf. Elves aren't considered adults until they're around 100 years old. So let's say you come into the game with 100 plus years of backstory, but that's impractical to implement. And how do you not have tons of different skills and proficiencies and types of knowledge from everything you've learned throughout your century or more of life? Then you play through the campaign, gaining levels just like everyone else does. Then eventually the campaign concludes and things wrap up. So in looking at your life, you have 100 plus years of learning nothing more than the minimum for a first level character. Then for like a few months, you have this huge burst of rapid development and growth in power as you gain all these levels. And then you go back to your state of little to no development for your remaining centuries of life. A character can reach 20th level in a relatively short span of time in the game world. Let's say it takes 2 years in the game to get to 20th level. It could be shorter than that, but let's just go with 2 years. Where would the character go after 20th level? You've still got centuries of your life ahead of you. Would you just go on to acquire things like divine boons and magic items and feats that increase your power? If you don't level up again, that means only during a sliver of time, like 0.3% of your whole life, You experience this incredible development, and the rest, you're just stagnant. Why can your elf only develop like a normal character for this tiny, tiny fraction of his existence? So pick your poison. You either have to accept these problems with the races in D&D, or you have to do the work yourself to restructure the world building and the racial traits and always explain all this to the players who join your campaigns. Now, I don't want to give you the impression that it's all negative. Do not despair, my brave companions. Implementing your own world building or finding solutions to these problems can be interesting. It can even be an enjoyable task. There are interesting solutions that can be found. You can give the races some kind of major flaws that are not easily overcome by magic or technology. Or perhaps the gods are much more active in this setting and they have a bigger impact on the world. The gods compete with each other too, and the god of the elves and the god of the dwarves and the god of the orcs struggle against each other, and as they do that, they also keep their rival races in the world in check. Or you can come up with some major story reason why humans are the most prevalent, or at least on equal standing with the other races. Or you can restructure the racial traits. That's what I did in my setting of Mirrormorn, in which the elves and the dwarves did not have unusually long lifespans, and the elves still need to sleep just like everyone else. It's curious, you know. Something like D&D is already so fantastical, it's already so high magic, that when you take things and you make them a little more realistic, it improves the world building and it improves the storytelling. Things become more balanced, more grounded, more relatable. Conversely, when you make things even more magical and more fantastical, it just goes way over the top and the world building and the storytelling become less meaningful. People talk about different kinds of problems in regard to the fantasy races. This is what I focus on, the problems at the root of the world building, the problems that are there at the depths of the lore and behind the story. I'm concerned more than anything with the quality of the experience. I hope that's something that's interesting to you. That's what I'm committed to. Please make sure to give this video a like, subscribe if you're not already. That will show your support in the fight to keep the heart and soul alive, to not get replaced with lesser elements. Also consider showing your support on Patreon. It not only strengthens the channel, but gets you some great monthly rewards. I want to give a big thank you on that note to everyone who is already a supporter there, especially the grand patrons, Adam Wood, Nick Thy Pirate King, Locke Monroe, Nicholas A., and Lucius Tenebri. Until we meet again, my brave companions, may your problem solving be effective, may your storytelling be strong, and may your adventures be many.